Hey,
Welcome back.
episode 16?
I think so.
Yeah. We are kind of hungover. We went out last night to celebrate Haley's
Master's degree.
I was like graduating of master's degree. I was like, that's not how you say it.
Yeah.
We went to Applebee's to celebrate.
To start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we tried getting into 2 bars, but we were down an ID in the group and they weren't taking photos. It's okay. We had fun.
We ended up at a barcade and it was fine. It was neither here nor there.
Fair.
It did the job, I guess.
It did what it needed to do. It gave us a night out. It was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and then we got brunch and coffee this morning, and it was lovely. And we decided that today we would like to bitch about the lack of walkable cities, lack of public transportation, and there was another one.
Third spaces.
Yes.
Yes, lack of third spaces. Thank you. Does anyone want to elaborate on that? Well, I'll just say I feel like in the entire county, well, in the entire San Gabriel Valley area, it feels like the only like decent walkable city is Claremont. And I'm very grateful to live close to it. But yeah, it's kind of a bummer when like I want to go somewhere and you live in the suburbs and like all there is to do is go to fucking, Michael's or like Marshall's or Home Goods and Target, and like it gets really old.
You do have a backyard though. It's like the one.
Yeah, but it's a million fucking degrees outside.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, like, as far as like going out, like if you want to get out of the house and you want to like,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess out's like my backyard is out of the house, but like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to be out and about.
Yeah. It would be nice to be able to like walk outside your front door and like be able to just go kind of like anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We have like a few spots around our house, but that's like really just our neighborhood. That's not like the whole city.
Yeah.
It's also like spaces that you have to pay money for, like coffee shops or somewhere where it would be considered loitering to just hang out.
Mm-hmm. Like, I wish that there were more, like, parks are great and all, but
like indoor, air conditioned.
Yeah. Or at least like, yeah, more trees, more things to do other than just like a playground. Like, I don't know, maybe something more interactive.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a community center. There
Yeah.
aren't really very many, and the ones locally are not the most funded.
They cater to kids too.
Yeah, everywhere is very individualistic. Like there's no community oriented activity centers or anything that you can go without having to spend more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're poor.
Yeah, because I remember like I remember there was like a time where I was like, it'd be so nice to like go and do things like me and Ethan to like go make friends, but it's like we have to spend money to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have to go like find a class or go do an activity, and then it's like a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really love like when a coffee shop or like a bar has like board games.
Yeah.
Because then it turns that place into what kind of feels like a third space, I guess. Usually you only have to like, I mean, most places you just show you give them your ID to like rent a board game. Like it's usually free, but I don't know if that like comes with a price of like you have to buy a drink or something.
Maybe.
Not really sure.
That like, kind of like makes me think about how I wish that one of the worst things that came out of COVID was people putting time limits on tables at restaurants. Being like, oh, like you can only sit here for 90 minutes. It's like, what if I just want to like chill after my meal and hang out in your establishment?
Also, it's like so American that we like eat a meal in 45 minutes and then dip. Like apparently in Europe, like people are chilling at their tables for like hours and just talking.
And they're healthier.
Yeah.
Are we in a rush? Like, there's no rush. Why
Yeah.
do we have to eat within
We're
90 minutes?
Always rushing somewhere, I feel like.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's like the hustle of like trying to make as much money in as little amount of time as possible instead of just like, whatever. I could get
And
into that.
have as much fun as possible on your days off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is for me, is like I'm like, I need to maximize my day off.
Yeah,
You only get
because
2 of
they're
them.
so limited.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then it's exhausting because like sometimes like doing things
Yeah.
like takes spoons. When you've already had like an exhausting, sometimes physically exhausting work week.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Also, like just living in most suburban places in Southern California are very like car dependent.
Mm-hmm.
I would even be grateful to live somewhere that was like bikeable,
Yeah.
not even necessarily walkable, but at least bikeable. It's kind of my appeal to like wanting to move to Portland one day.
Yeah.
Bikeable and safe to bike in as
Yeah.
a woman.
That's true.
Especially in Southern California specifically, there's not, even if you ride a bike, it's so dangerous. Like, people really do not give a fuck about bikers or pedestrians here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
the
so
drivers
scary.
out here are crazy.
Mhm.
I'm also just like terrified of becoming a missing person.
I'm convinced it could happen to me anytime.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially, I was just thinking about this the other day because we were listening to like a true crime podcast, Jacob and I, and like I just realized like I don't really have like that much family.
Mhm.
Like
We're right here.
I'm so yeah, but I'm so like I'm such an easy target, I feel.
No, because I would notice instantly if you were missing.
Yeah. Oh,
And I think Cassie would too.
100%.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I also heard that they don't really target women with a lot of tattoos as much, but that could also just be something I saw online.
I have heard that. It's kind of comforting.
Yeah, because you're more identifiable, so they don't really want to
Mm-hmm.
come for you. More
Yeah.
tattoos it is, guys. And you don't look little, which a lot of people who take people want people who look like they're
Frail.
children.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, and it sucks going back on topic. It sucks that the only public transportation that we have, well, the majority of it is like really just like run down and like sketchy
Yeah.
and stinky. And
It's not well
ghetto.
funded.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying I'm above it, but like, there's been many times where like it'd be much easier if like we like took a bus somewhere. I'm not taking any bus in the Long Beach transit area. It's
No.
not happening.
I also like, I mean, I will say I've never tried to take a bus anywhere, but I don't understand how the system works. I feel like I would be very confused and I would get lost and I would get on the wrong bus and end up
It's
somewhere a lot. Like,
very intimidating, and like, again, like there's not like, it's not like the old days where like, you know, like the bus driver's nice and they're having a good time and like everyone
Yeah.
on the bus is nice and like helpful and like, oh, like this stop.
no, they're not.
The bus drivers are pissed that they have a job, to be honest, because like everyone is like when they're at work, and then all the other riders are either not mentally present or they're just like, I'm minding my own business, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
So
So they're
it's
probably
scary.
just like in a bad mood because they have to deal with like, I don't know, maybe some weird people sometimes and
Yeah.
they just, yeah.
Yeah, buses are only, you have to be very familiar with each different line. Otherwise, it's incredibly confusing.
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
not very accommodating or understanding to people who have questions or like, is this my bus?
Yeah. Because if I ask you, hey, is this bus going to X place?
Mhm.
And they're like bitchy to me about it, like I would never take a bus again.
I wouldn't even get on the bus.
I was only
Yeah.
familiar with the transit that I would take to community college when I was younger. It was the actually I shouldn't say what line it is.
Yeah.
It was one of the Foothill Transit buses.
But it was like one line, so you didn't have to transfer.
Yeah, it was one line that I wouldn't have to transfer. I feel like you kind of need internet access. I don't know if they have brochures as often or readily available as they should to tell you what lines to take. It's very confusing.
Mhm.
We don't have good public transit at all.
They should just have an app where you put in where you want to go and it tells you when to get off and where to transfer to.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like I feel like
Maybe
they
they do.
keep it like they don't modernize it on purpose. Like they make it hard.
Literally, what they have is you can go on like the website, like on a desktop. Maybe you can do it on your phone too, but like it won't like alert you, but you can get like a map of like what lines and like what buses to get on.
Mhm.
But again, like if you're not paying attention, you don't know like what line is what or like what bus stop is what,
Mhm.
you're fucked.
Yeah. I was gonna say something. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Bus, club, another club.
Another club.
I don't know. I lost it.
I feel out of it today.
It's okay. We look out of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an audio listener, you need to become a visual one because it's really good this episode, guys.
I love that we didn't even like undress.
They can look on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Figure it out.
Go watch our YouTube. I really wish there were more third spaces because it is really depressing, like only having home and work that are like technically free to be at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wish that also like there were more places that, like you were saying earlier, like a lot of like kind of third spaces like really appeal to like kids.
Mm-hmm.
But like I would like to have fun, or like I don't know.
Like I think there should be like certain areas of, oh my god, someone with kids is going to be so pissed that I'm saying this. Like anyone with kids would be like, how dare you? Like there should be like child-free areas of like beaches and parks because it's like, yeah, it's like great for the kids. Like give them the playground and shit. But, like, can we have like a couple tables where it's just like there's not kids running around me and like I'm not next to someone's kid who's playing in the sand?
Yeah.
Because we all share the same space, but like parents these days are not on top of their kids and they let them do whatever the fuck they want.
I also think that if you are an adult, a teenager to an adult in a playground, sometimes parents kind of like dog you. They're like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like, this is the children's space. So like if you're trying to have fun in a public space that is free, then you're also kind of shamed for it.
That's a good point.
But it's like it's a park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The playground was added after.
I want to have fun too. Like
Also,
shit.
where's the adult park? I want a swing set.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like I would like an adult playground, like something that I can just
Literally just
Bounce
like a
around
swing
and-
set, maybe like a slide
Like
if
a
we're feeling
net.
spicy.
I
Yeah.
want to climb in a net without having to pay like $50 to go to
I
like
know a
one of those
place.
like gyms.
I know a place.
Really?
Yeah. It's by my parents' house.
Please.
I will enlighten.
I
Yeah.
also think with lack of third spaces, that applies to both adults and kids, because then that's always why there's like children that have no fucking decorum in stores, because the only places that they can go is like the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's nowhere for them to like really take their energy out on that's like enough stimulation to them anymore. Because yeah, like I think they require so much stimulation that a park maybe just doesn't do it for them anymore.
Yeah.
So like going out and being around like like in a mall or shopping where there's like a lot of stuff to look at and like that is stimulating enough to them. It's just
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know what like the solution to that would be, but maybe just like more interactive parks like or like places for kids to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like add other shit that's like enough
Mhm.
for like older kids too.
Yeah, I agree. And that's also a like means of them to be off their phones and off of the internet and actually engage with the world around them, which is really important.
Touch grass.
Literally,
Yeah.
please touch grass. It's so important.
Speaking of kids being in public spaces, just a side note, I'm pissed that kids are back in school because anywhere you go after 3 p.m., riddled with kids.
Mhm.
Trader Joe's, forget it. Don't even bother.
Girl, you're telling me.
I wanted to die when I walked in the other day. Like, why is your child running in circles around me? I'm just trying to
Yeah.
grocery shop.
Yeah, I get that. I think like I'm torn between being like, oh, like I want to live in a community where like, you know, people care like for one another, like kind of like smaller tight knit communities where it's like, you know, kind of like village,
Yeah.
like we support our neighbors like kids and like, you know, like that's nice and all, but like our where we live is like so individualistic and like me and mine like,
and the
kind
weird
of-
ass parenting styles that, like, it's hard to justify some parenting sometimes.
yeah
Mm-hmm.
I'm obviously saying this as someone who, like, doesn't have kids, but seeing like children, relatives of mine being raised by their parents, and sometimes I'm like, that was a choice.
Mm-hmm.
yeah
That was a choice for sure, and we're seeing the consequences now.
Mhm.
Yeah, sometimes I see the way that kids are in at my work or just in general out in public where I'm just like, should I call CPS? Because your parents are clearly not involved enough in your life.
It
Like
makes me so sad when I see that too.
the other day I was at work and there was this child that was not very no home training, I guess, is the way to go about
I
saying
love that phrase.
Gentle parenting, but actually it's just passive parenting.
Very much passive parenting. Like their child spit on the floor and then wiped it with their shoe. Like just like was watching the spit roll down out of their mouth. And
Where
then,
was
like,
this?
My work.
Okay. Inside a building.
Inside of a building.
A grocery store, actually.
Yes, inside of a building. Wiped it with their shoe and then like tried to grab me like afterwards. And I was like I moved back, like my body physically recoiled. Like, one, if you have no home training in that way, you probably don't wash your hands. I'm not trying to get all sticky and nasty.
That's pink eye waiting for you.
Yeah. And then I was going up to the registers after. I was doing other stuff. And then at the end of the hour, we switched jobs. And I was going up to the register area and they were paying. And the child was just like literally laying down on the floor. And I was just like, okay, like clearly your parents are not looking after you. And I cannot be just mad at you because you are the consequence of your parents neglecting you, not really caring about you. Yeah. And that made me really sad. Like it just kind of depressed me, even though I was annoyed about it.
When me and my brother like wouldn't behave in a grocery store when we were little, it was like, okay, you're getting put in the cart now. Like you're getting caged.
Yeah.
And like, bring it back. Cage your kid.
Yeah, leash your children.
It's just like just put them in the cart if they're not old enough.
Yeah, teach your kids to like be considerate and demure and respectful.
Very mindful, very considerate.
No, but like actually like that was a huge part of like my childhood was, I don't know, like being taught to use my manners and be considerate of the people around me. And if I wasn't, I was gonna get my ass kicked. Like,
yeah,
not that you should be kicking your kids' asses, because like I didn't literally get my ass kicked, but like I was like, it was definitely like a huge part of like discipline in the way that I was raised.
Discipline is really important for kids, and it's kind of how they learn to navigate the world around them, because they need to have discipline throughout adolescence, throughout adulthood. Like if they don't have discipline, then the real world is going to kick their ass.
I think the issue is like parents don't give consequences anymore. And it's like, that is discipline. It's like, okay, you weren't listening to your parent in a store. Like now you don't get to play with your favorite toy, or you're getting put in the cart and you have to stay there the entire time. Like, it's like the littlest type of punishment can teach a kid like, oh, maybe I don't want to do that because like that wasn't very fun after.
Yeah, because their actions do have consequences afterwards.
And it's like, you can do that without yelling at your kid, without hitting them. Like you can do these things and like not harm your child emotionally or physically.
And this is like sort of a repercussion of how strict like anti-abortion laws have been enacted, because the more you restrict women's reproductive health care, the more children that are neglected are going to be around. Like they're not going to care about their kid, obviously.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The foster care system is already like overflowing, and foster parents are usually really shitty. But I was gonna say, going back to like discipline and punishment and stuff, I know that positive reinforcement works better than like discipline or like negative reinforcement, but I think that parents are being too lenient and
you can do both.
Yeah,
like rewarding their kid without really maybe necessarily deserving rewards. Like they kind of just give them anything without like them earning it. And so there's nothing to reinforce with. Like it's not like, oh, like you behaved so well at the grocery store today, like now let's get you like ice cream, or like you know, like, and like that's what helps them like develop like that like drive to be well behaved, right? Like in public spaces is like, oh shit, like when I'm good I get a reward out of it. Like I don't know, I just think that parents are just like just overly like spoiling their kids without any like Like it's not a reward. Like nothing is really a reward. Like they get screen time all the time anyways, or like they get treats all the time anyways. Like
they never have to work for it.
yeah, thank you. Yeah.
People are parenting their kids as if they're training dogs, because like the way you train a dog is like, okay, so they're sitting, and it's like, as long as they stay sitting, I'll keep giving them treats. But when they stop sitting, no more treats. And it's like, all a dog knows now is that there's no consequence for stopping the sit. But if he wants more treats, he can sit.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what you're doing to your child if you're rewarding them that way. Is like, you're just teaching them that like, when they do good things, they will get rewarded. But otherwise, like, who cares?
And no one else will coddle your children the way that you coddle them. If you don't allow them to make mistakes, grow from them, if they have no discipline, if they do whatever they want, then the world is going to teach them the hard way. Like, you have to do it at home in a safe environment where they can learn from their mistakes and grow from them.
Yeah. Teachers are already underpaid enough. Don't do that to them, you guys.
Yeah, please don't make teachers the third parent, please.
So I do think that kids deserve, you know, to be in public spaces because they're people.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like if your kid's acting like a jackass because of your shitty parenting, like, then of course, like, you know, you're gonna get more adults that are like, oh, dude, these fucking kids, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also like, don't take your kids to a spot that like is catered towards adults, because not only are you going to irritate the other adults that are there, your kids can be bored. And like, obviously, like, yes, you deserve to like be an adult and have adult time, maybe get a sitter or like have them stay with a friend for the night. Like, you're doing your kid a disservice by like making them sit there while you have your fun time.
100%. A lot of the time kids want to do their own thing, and if they don't have anyone around, they're just going to be on the iPad or on the phone, like playing some loud ass game, watching TikToks in the middle of like a restaurant.
Exactly.
Like, it's so common. And this isn't anti-children rhetoric. We like kids here. I used to hate kids like in high school. Like, I used to be like, fuck kids, like they're so annoying, blah blah blah. I was also a kid. I was like 17, saying shit like that. But I really changed my mindset when I started thinking about children as an oppressed group, as a marginalized group that cannot really advocate for themselves because people don't take them seriously. I remember being a kid and being like really upset that like nobody saw me as like a real human or like a real person. I was just kind of an extension of like my parents or my family. And I think really like reframing the way that I look at kids as just a marginalized group of people that cannot advocate for themselves, that needs other people to look out for them, that really changed like my view on the world.
It's not the kids, it's the parent. Just like when there's an aggressive dog, it's not the dog, it's the owner. Like, it's not the child's fault that their parents sucked and they ended up like that. And they're not self-aware enough to know that, you know, like, it's sad to see. It sucks.
Yeah, it is really sad. And I do feel like that is a form of neglect, I would say, to like 100%. Only reward your children and not discipline them at all, because the world just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, my phone was vibrating. It was pissing me off.
That's okay.
Yeah, all that to say is not that we don't want your kids in public spaces, unless they are shitty and you're a shitty parent. But truly, I just think that if, you know, people were better at parenting and kids were like more respectful, they would be like more welcome in those kinds of spaces.
100%.
Yeah, but I don't remember how we even started talking about kids though. Like, because we were talking about how adults want fun things to do.
Well, it's the free things are like not overrun, because obviously, like, again, they deserve that too, but like they're taken up by kids, which is cool. But like, just because the kids don't have money doesn't mean I do.
You know what I want is like, well, maybe there are some, but I don't. I haven't been, but like I want like a science museum that's like appealing to adults. Also.
Yes.
Like, I like science. Like the Natural History Museum is, I think, is very like fitting for adults. But like I want like an interactive science museum that's like cool for adults to enjoy. Or like, even if the science museums that are already like existing in LA, like I just feel like they're very like kid focused. Like their interactive parts are very like appealing to kids. But like maybe just have like an adult night, like adult swim.
Yeah.
Adult swim night.
Like at the aquarium, they do nights for adults only.
Oh, I didn't know
But
that.
it's
That's cool.
only like once a month or something.
Hey, that's something.
Yeah.
That's nice. I would appreciate that.
That would be amazing because the last time I went to the aquarium, it was for Father's Day. And my dad got so overstimulated, he was just grumpy the entire time because there was screaming children literally anywhere you went.
Yeah.
That's real as fuck.
Yeah, it's hard.
And again, like that's not necessarily the child's fault that like I'm overstimulated when they cry. That's like a me problem. I get that. But like again, it's just like being able to be courteous of other people. Like I feel like if I was a parent and my kid's like fucking wailing, I'm like, we gotta get you out of here. Like you're bothering people.
Yeah, I think it's that like it takes a village mindset, but they aren't really parenting their kid. They're kind of expecting everyone around them to parent their kid, which I will watch your kid for you. Like if you are in a public space, I'm going to make sure that your kid is cool. But if they're like screaming, running around, and they're ruining everybody else's time, please go home.
Yeah. Also, like they're probably not having a great time if they're acting like that. And like, why would you want to put your child through that and essentially teach them that their feelings don't matter when they're not having a good time?
Yeah, it is very selfish. I think a lot of parents, you know what? I'm going to shut up.
No, because my parents would do that. It was really just church, which is fine. But I had to beg to get to go to the adults church because my parents didn't understand that I was overstimulated at the children's one. And I didn't want to make friends at church. And so I just sat there alone. So I was like, why not go sit with my parents?
That's so you coded to be like a kid and be like, no,
I
don't want to be around them.
Stand other children as a child.
I was the same way.
I was like, you guys are fucking stupid.
Me too. Is it the neurodivergency? Yeah.
I think that churches are like a great example of what a third space could be.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, an air-conditioned building where people gather and share common interests, and they eat together, they sing together, they dance together. Not that that's necessarily what we want our third spaces to be, but like, and it's all like, it's that community funded.
Yeah.
Like it's funded by that specific community. So like, I don't know. I just think that that's a beautiful thing. Like despite all the negatives that come with organized religion. And I don't know. I feel like if someone were to start something like that that wasn't religious based, I don't know. Number one, I don't know if it would be funded as much as it needed to be. And two, I fear that people would shut it down and call it a cult.
I was actually thinking when you were saying that like I've always thought like donating to churches is so fucking stupid because they do get like a lot of money through a lot of different avenues. I would have no issue like donating money and like my personal time to a community center like that.
Like I think where it gets corrupt is when like the owner or like the pastor of the church like becomes like they're exploiting all that those funds, the funds that go towards the church from the donors.
Like how are you making a salary working at a church? Can we explain that one?
I think that we should start a community center.
I agree.
Where there's no leader. We're all just everyone that donates, they own like whatever they pitch in.
Weren't we just talking about like opening something where we could have some people doing something on stage? I don't remember what we were talking about.
On stage?
We were drunk. That was last night.
It was a great idea. I wish I wrote it down.
Was I a part of that conversation?
We were talking about making a pink pony club is what we were talking about, I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
Oh my god, like a burlesque style pink pony club bar.
That would be cool. Like like a building where we could throw art shows, where we could have a stage so local artists could play music. What else could we do?
A transformative space. Like it doesn't have to be the same thing all the time would be nice.
Yeah. And like even services like such as maybe we could have like a coffee shop there where like it's technically free because it's like all the supplies are provided like by the donors. right? And like the people who are like making the drinks, like the baristas would, I mean, yeah, you're not getting paid, but it's like you're doing a service for the community. Like you're there because you love like the people there. And like it's not like you're going to be working like a full shift. It's like,
Yeah, and these people have hobbies for this type of stuff. Like we know people who love coffee,
yeah,
who I'm sure would feel like totally fine. Like, oh, like yeah, I donate 2 hours of my time to do that because
Yeah.
you have a hobby and you like it and you're interested in it. You want to be able to like give it back to other people almost.
that would be like if
That's
I could be a barista at a spot like that, like
Mm-hmm.
that would be so lit. Like just volunteer my like 2 hours of my day just making drinks for the people that I love.
It would be so fulfilling.
Yeah.
It's also a great way to give people work experience at an entry level. Even like getting like unhoused people back on their feet, being able to have a space that's not as like exclusive in terms of hiring, being like, yeah, like we can teach you how to work like custodial or like make coffee or do this or do that. And
Yeah.
it really helps people get that experience to get them back on their feet or get them into a certain industry.
Some resume
Yeah.
resume experience. That's
And-
a really good idea.
And they know that they have a community to fall back on in hard times. Like that is so vital.
Yeah.
It really is. And in a lot of leftist spaces, there's not a lot of like, we have community, but it's not like the way that a church would be. Like our community foundations are often not as strong.
Mhm.
It's
as
all
it should
virtual.
be. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it is hard. Like everyone has full-time jobs. Like people go to school. Like it's really hard to carve out that sort of time. But I don't know. Bitches always say they want community until it's time for community.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I love this idea. I love the idea of like having a kitchen there, and we just
so
like
cute.
cook together, or what else?
It's like how people throw block parties.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could throw like
We
a
should.
Halloween party there.
Yeah,
We
and
could
it's
throw-
like you can have like, okay, like until 6 p.m. it's kids can be there, and then afterwards it's like adults only,
Yeah.
and that's a community space because you're catering to your community.
Their wants, their needs. That's really smart.
And it's like it can be run by a board if it needs to be, you know, like there shouldn't be one owner like you said because it gets messy and weird. Or even just managed by the city but like operated by the community would be cool too.
No, fuck the city. I don't want it involved.
Well, because like insurance and stuff, like I don't want to deal with that.
I'll have to look into this. Yeah, I don't know how that works.
ideas.
But is it a business though? It's like a nonprofit.
It's not that we want a business, we just want these spaces for ourselves, so we want to start them.
Is it like a thing to have a community center where there's like an interview process to join the community?
That's a great point because
Like, is that valid?
I think it's more of like a everyone's welcome until you've done some shit and you will get banned. Like, I'm sorry. If I find out that you're a sex offender and you're coming to the community center for that reason, ooh, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to figure out like what all these like legal
That's a wall of
Kinks
shame that you
are-
put faces up on for sure.
Yeah,
Not allowed in.
I like that idea.
And that's purely for people like that. Not
Mhm.
like, I don't like you.
Yeah, you want to screen to make sure that everybody is safe and taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a country club membership, but like not paying like money for that. Maybe like,
Well, you're paying because you're donating.
yeah, I was gonna say like maybe like a minimum donation to be able to like keep the place operating, but there should be no profit.
Mm-hmm.
It could also be based on like your donation could be based on like what is it like pay what you can sort of thing?
Yeah, like your income.
Yeah, of course.
Because it shouldn't be outrageous. Like I'm talking like the ideal would be like $20 a month.
Mm-hmm.
For people who can afford it, and if you can.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, if you can't, you have to donate a certain amount of time.
Yeah. I
Like
think-
you have to give back to the community center to be able to enjoy the community center.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are very honest when it comes to that too. When it's always like a pay what you can sort of scale, I think people are sort of like, okay, like this is my budget. I'll just pay the max of what my budget would be.
Exactly.
I have a lot of faith in people when it comes to that sort of thing.
Also,
the most
like
part.
you can have people who donate memberships. Like, oh, like this person donated like basically 6-year-long memberships for people who can't afford it.
Yeah. People who have more disposable income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got something cooking here, guys.
Yeah, I like this idea.
If you're interested, hit us up.
We weren't even planning on talking about this, but it just kind of conspired right before your eyes, or your ears, rather.
If you want to run the administrative side of this, hit us up.
What? No, I'm the boss of this.
Okay.
I thought we just said we were having a boss.
Yeah, well,
I just don't want any paperwork. Like, I'm good.
That's so real.
Me not being a community member right now.
you're becoming a cult member or a cult leader right now.
Join our cult. That's the title of this episode.
What would we call it? The Haters Guild.
That's cute. Yeah, we gotta.
That's what we should call our fans.
The Haters Guild.
Yeah,
I like it. I do think, obviously we can't because it's probably like copyrighted, but Pink Pony Club would be cute.
yeah, that's really cute.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not copyrighted, great idea for business.
Someone has to be in the works of making a Pink Pony Club like bar or go-go
Oh,
club.
absolutely.
I think people are only going to do Pink Pony Club nights, like themed nights at bars. I don't know if anyone's going to open one.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
definitely will.
rebrand.
After this episode.
Yeah, someone's going to take our idea, and so if you do that after this episode airs, I'm coming for your ass legally.
Wait, for our community center?
No, like starting a Pink Pony Club.
Oh,
If
yeah.
they start the process after this episode, I'm coming for you.
Yeah, we
Well,
need receipts with dates.
Bring me the paperwork. Show it to me.
Yes. So more spaces like that.
Yeah.
Like our cult idea. Just kidding.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's the difference between like that and like an actual church where like it kind of is a cult because there is a leader and sometimes it's corrupt and exploitative.
Yeah, like
And-
a lot of nonprofits are said to be that way.
Ours would get shut down simply because we're communists.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, like, some of these churches, like, they're just spouting their own beliefs and, like, essentially, like, brainwashing people into thinking it's the word of God. So
Mhm.
I think we could have a cult if we want. It's not like a real cult, but, like, people would think it was because we're commies.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have some speeches spreading the word of Marx.
There's some government group, like, screening the internet for, like, people who say they're commies, and, like, we're done for a couple years.
It's quite literally the FBI. Actually,
We are
it's
on a
this-
watch list.
Yeah,
FBI, if you're watching,
the
like and
CIA.
subscribe, rate our podcast on Spotify.
we're just kidding. We're way too poor to even like make this happen. So
Yeah, I was overdrafted until payday very recently. So
maybe start worrying about us once we get our first sponsor. I don't know.
Just wait and watch.
I do think that it's important that it would be like a communist or leftist based community center though, because in free third spaces like a library, for example, a lot of people complain about there being unhoused people around them, and it's sort of like, okay, like you're kind of showing your privilege right now. Like this is the only space that they can be where they could have access to internet.
Like, what
Or-
if they're trying to educate themselves
Yeah,
to
exactly.
no longer be unhoused?
Yeah, like there's AC, there's internet access, there's books, like there's so much that you can do in a library, and it's important to kind of look at it through a leftist lens of being like, okay, this person, I think a lot of people feel bothered by the existence of homeless people, which
It's so stupid because unless they're clearly bothering other people or like very much acting in a dangerous manner, why does it matter that they don't have a home to live in?
yeah,
We should install outdoor showers.
Yeah, that's such a good idea.
that's a good idea.
Outdoor showers. Maybe with like a lock on it so that just so our water's like not running all night.
Yeah.
But like
true.
they can only use it like during the day, like while people are
like you have to come get a key or
There.
something.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wait, what do you mean by outdoor?
Like a beach bathroom but enclosed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because like an indoor one would get gross and moldy and it would be a thing.
That's true.
That's kind of my thing. It's like because like I love the idea of like having a free shower for homeless people to use,
Mhm.
but I mean, this might sound controversial, but like whatever. Like a lot of times when like there are like public bathrooms for like homeless people to use, or houseless, whatever sounds right to you. I've been homeless before. Whatever. Anyways, a lot of the times just because it's been like a long time since I've been able to like use a public bathroom, like sometimes they take advantage of the space and it gets messy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the conditions in which the bathroom is left in.
Yeah.
not the greatest.
So I think that having like an outdoor shower,
And like a timer on the water.
maybe. Yeah.
So like,
just so it doesn't get wasted.
and it's not something you can like, oh, like I'm going to reset it and go back in. It's like, no, you get like 1 15-minute increment or whatever. And
Because we don't want to get taken advantage of either. Like, I want to provide as many things as we can for them, but also like, you know.
You want to make it so that more than just like the first 100 people who get to use it have the experience they're meant to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's, I don't know. I just feel like an outdoor shower is like easier to not get like too messy, nasty.
Also, there's like less
Requires less maintenance.
Yeah, there's less of an expectation of it being like pristine.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, it'll get like hosed down, but like I'm not getting in there on my hands and knees scrubbing like that.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking.
because like this sounds so mean, but like I already have to clean my own shower. Like I'm sorry, like that's on y'all, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's on the community who's using the shower to make sure it stays clean.
Yeah, even when I worked at the cafe that I just left, like our restrooms were like part of like O'Donovan's
Mhm.
restrooms, and they would get really dirty sometimes, depending on like who would use them.
It's always the shit smears on the wall that do it for me.
That's exactly kind of like my concern.
Yeah.
So
At my store, we have interesting clientele at times, and one time they had to shut down the women's restroom for like half the day because someone went into the women's restroom and masturbated and left things behind
Ew.
in the women's restroom. Yeah,
not cool.
not cool.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, I think, another part of like ensuring that the people that are a part of the community centers are contributing to making the space safe for one another.
Yeah, and that's not to say that like if someone is in a state of their life where they are having behaviors like that like we're just going to shun them and be like, you can't fucking come here.
Yeah, no,
But that's like the part where like, no, you can't utilize the center, but we can help you get resources so that you can get your life back on track. Like, because we can't do it all. Like, we can't be like a sober living community. We can't get people off of drugs. Like, but we can connect them to the right people.
Yeah.
So that they can become part of the community again. Because at a certain point, it is like for the safety of other people. Like, you do have to like limit who can be in a space based on like where they are at in their life.
Yeah, it's not really my mission to solve homelessness. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that would be great, but it's a systematic problem, not like something that
Not a me
us
problem.
3 girls can do. No, I mean, like, no, like, but truly, like,
it's not an individual.
it's not.
Like one person cannot fix like, you know, us not having, the cost of living is so high, people are not paid livable wages. We can't change systemic issues, but we can attempt to help.
Every paycheck, I'm making sure that I'm doing like the best job possible to not become homeless. So like I can't worry about somebody else's state of like being homeless or not. Like I gotta worry about my own shit. I'm sorry, I'm broke right now.
Yeah,
I can help you shower and I can feed you.
We're all
And
living paycheck to paycheck.
that is, you know,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that's more than a lot of people are offering. So
Also, I don't know why I just saw this. What the fuck is up with Goodwill raising their prices this much?
Horrible.
dude,
Because I'm sorry, first of all, half the clothes are ugly and they should be given away for free.
they were given away for free to Goodwill.
They're also
Why are you
half
charging
Shein.
$14?
Mm-hmm.
They're also half Shein now.
That's
Yeah.
so irritating.
And it's like, why is secondhand Shein more expensive than just buying it new on the website?
That's my problem. Is like, I have bought secondhand Shein, like because it's there, and
Mm-hmm.
if I don't buy it, it's gonna go to the landfill or some whatever.
Yeah.
Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, I don't know. I just don't understand like why, like this was donated. It was $4 on the website.
Yeah, one thing that bothers me about that is that I know that a lot of thrift stores are getting Shein and taking off the tags, or whoever's donating it is just taking off the Shein tags and
Mhm.
upselling it. Like, there's some things that I've seen in store where I'm like, this is not good quality. Why the fuck is this $10, $15, $20?
I just saw someone talking about this because, like, Princess Polly puts out some cute dresses.
Mhm.
They should not be priced that high for the quality
No.
that they are.
Mm-mm.
They are not that good quality. And, this is a lot of, like, clothing companies right now. It's not just Princess Polly.
Yeah.
And I get that, like, a lot of the cost is coming from, like, shipping and stuff because that got really expensive over COVID.
Mhm.
But like, fuck, dude, I'm sorry. Why am I going to pay $60 for the same dress in the same fabric that I could get off of Shein for 10?
Yeah.
Because it's probably coming from the same place if we're being so for real.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people get Motel Rocks, like bathing suits,
were good.
swimwear, clothes, and they have Shein tags on them. They're sourcing them from
You're
the same
kidding.
place. No,
I
I've
don't-
seen it.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because I have bought like some jorts like a few years ago from Motel, and they were like really like nice quality, like super soft, like 100% cotton. Like
That was also a few years ago, though.
it was like 2 years ago.
They might have changed since then.
Maybe
It could be that
cut
they
costs.
like take different sourcing in. So like there maybe is like a good percentage of their clothing that is good quality, but like it is the reselling of the Shein that like it almost like makes me distrust you as a company because I'm like, I don't want to have to order this and be disappointed when it comes and it's not the quality I expected.
Yeah, why are you drop shipping with like a name brand? I will also say allegedly. I'm not trying to get into any legal trouble, but I have allegedly seen people receive Motel Rocks and it was Shein.
Motel Rocks, if you want us to retract this statement, you
Send
can
us-
DM us for our address. Thanks.
Yeah, send us clothes.
yeah, but I
we
still
will
think,
review.
Us
I
being
s-
the biggest hypocrites right now.
I still think that there's like different grades of like quality of clothing
100%.
in the warehouse because
100%.
like it or not, like even like whatever, like old motel, like or like whatever like more expensive brand you want to like refer to, like that shit's all still made in China, whether we like it or not. Like
Mhm.
so like if they use the same warehouse as Shein, like that doesn't matter to me. If it's like still like the nicer quality, then yeah, like whatever. Like everything's fucking made in China. So
Mhm.
like it doesn't really mean anything to me.
Yeah,
like
Tunnel
if you're
vision.
yeah, as long as you're not using like the same materials and like the same like quality of stitching and stuff like as you're using for like, yeah, like $10 Shein clothes, then like I don't care if my motel like clothes are coming from the Shein factory. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like
There is a difference sometimes.
Tunnel Vision is from China. They're based in China, but they're not using sweatshop labor. So the quality of the stitching and the clothes itself are pretty good. It doesn't really matter where it comes from too, because there's a lot of sweatshops in LA.
And honestly, I can say like with just my experience, there's been some times where I've looked at Tunnel Vision stuff and I'm like, there's no reason it should be that price. But like I've also ordered things and I'm like, I can't believe this wasn't more.
Yeah.
Like based on the quality that I get. I'm like, whoa, this is like that skirt I got.
Yeah.
Like it is insanely good quality and like I did not pay enough money for like how it feels. It
Yeah.
feels like
If I can afford it, I never mind paying a little bit extra. Like if I have the extra disposable income that specific payday, I know that they're getting paid well, that they all have like a livable wage. Like I would love to work for a company like that. So I'm
Mhm.
always like, I'll support them.
yeah.
And I ride or die for Madeline. It's literally my Thea.
mhm. Yeah, I like was looking for a white maxi skirt. I just typed in on Google white maxi skirt, and like the first 10 things to pop up were like $60 for just a basic white maxi skirt.
Christ, dude.
And even the Shein one was like $20, and I was like, okay, wow,
Yeah.
great.
Mhm.
You know what really started bothering me is that Target used to be like mid-tier clothing. Like it was like it was affordable and it was like pretty good quality for like what you were paying for. It was really nice for like obviously like back to school shopping and stuff like that, but just like basics. And now it's like more expensive and worse quality.
Yeah.
Like Target quality went down so bad, and not just like the material, like I'm talking like the fit of things. You can tell they weren't produced properly.
Okay.
Like it's almost like they like followed a template and like didn't have a model try it on at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think some lines from Target I
Are
agree
better
with
than
that
others.
statement on. Yeah, like I don't really shop this brand, but like sometimes I'll like look at their jeans or like their like denim, like the universal threads. Like those are like those feel like really nice.
Yeah.
But some of the Wild Fable stuff is like kind of
Very hit or
questionable.
miss.
Very hit or miss.
Mhm.
I have a pair of Wild Fable jeans and I have a pair of Universal Thread jeans, and like there's a very big difference, and like there's a very big difference after washing them what they look like too.
For sure.
Which I think is not fair because Wild Fable is technically their junior line, so it's like supposed to appeal to people that are younger, but that doesn't mean that it should be worse quality.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's more affordable because it's usually like synthetic fibers and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
like I get that.
I just hate that things are not made to last anymore. Like coats are thinner, everything is thinner.
I just wish I knew that like I could go to a certain place and like give a bag of old clothing and like they're actually going to recycle it for like fabric.
Mhm.
Like I don't want it to just go to like a landfill and like turn into whatever. Like I want to know it's being made into something else again.
Well, the problem is that there's already so many like scraps of
Yeah.
fabric that like are already like in the process of like being recycled. Like even if you found a spot, like it's gonna take them like so long to even get to the pieces that you donated. Like
Yeah.
there's just too much production of clothes. Like
Yeah.
Like why don't we like chill out for a while and see where we're at after like a year, you know? Like maybe just relax.
Yeah, don't produce any more clothes for like a year. I feel like that wouldn't be horrible.
I think it would really like save our planet.
Yeah, this is also part of like the underconsumption conversation. We talked about this a little bit last time, but I stopped engaging with trends as much because we don't need to have a shirt for everything. Like thinking of all like right now I'm thinking about political stuff. So I'm thinking like Trump 2016, like Bernie 2016, Hillary 2016 like shirts. Like where are those now? Where are they now?
Yeah.
They're trash. They're garbage. They're in a landfill somewhere because it's not relevant. It's not timeless. Like I don't understand the point of needing like
This could have been a sticker.
it could have been a sticker. I feel like
That's what turns into pajama shirts for me.
for you because you're like conscious. A lot of people would just toss it or like donate it, and the wherever they donate will toss it because
Yeah. Well, I
So-
will also wear a pajama shirt until it's actually falling apart.
until it scraps. Then you can use it for like cleaning and other stuff too.
This like that made me think of like when I do go thrifting, like a lot of the shirts that I see in like, you know, like the men's like t-shirt section or
Mhm.
like even whatever, even the women's section. Like people will make t-shirts for like a family going to Disneyland together.
For literally anything.
They'll make shirts for like a 5-year-old's birthday party, like matching shirts, all the same, like 15 of them.
yeah, never wear it
And they're
again.
ugly ass shirts that no one else is gonna fucking wear.
Mm-mm.
Or like sports teams, like I guess that makes more sense, but it's just like I don't know, like make a fucking reusable jersey or something.
Make
like,
a mug. Like literally anything else.
I don't know, like make patches and then just stick it on. Whatever. I don't really care about sports.
My biggest pet peeve with like shirts that are like way too specific is specifically when you have a job and like the uniform is a very specific shirt, and obviously if you work there long enough you end up with like 10 of them,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it's like once you stop working there, it's not like it's just like a cute little shirt that like alludes to like that like business.
Yeah.
It's like fucking branded. Like I have like 12 shirts right now that like when I leave my job I'll never wear them again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like ever. And like not that like I'm not gonna be like they forced me, but like there are times when it's like, oh, wear this shirt for this event, and it's like if I don't have it, like I'm like I have to go get it now, and it's like
Mhm.
fucking Christ.
Yeah. Like that's another thing that I see a lot when I'm like thrifting like t-shirts is like people's old like uniform t-shirt that had like the name of their business. Like nobody wants to buy your fucking car wash shirt that
Yeah.
you worked at for your fucking high school job. Like why are you even selling this on the floor? It's
Yeah.
not going to sell.
It's not going to sell. There's just too much waste. Like I think that there's too much disconnect from how much waste we're creating. But I don't know how in this day and age people don't think about that. Like, okay, I'm going to use this literally one time, and then this huge pile of like clothes that, like you were saying, me and my entire family wore, just going to go in the trash. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Think
it
about it.
definitely comes with age, like understanding why bad quality things like shouldn't be a part of your life. Because a couple years ago I was always like, no, fuck it, like I'm gonna get the cheapest clothes possible because like I change my mind a lot.
yeah,
Now I'm like, I don't like changing my mind a lot. I like knowing what I like to wear, and I like
Mhm.
having these pieces where I feel like I can wear them a lot and they won't be done in like a month.
Finding your personal style is huge. And I think I did waste a lot of clothing trying to get to my personal style. Bought a lot of clothes that I didn't actually end up really wearing, or they were like my style for like, you know, like a few months to a year, and then I just realized like, actually this isn't really me. Even though I have had like an underlining like consistent style for like a while, and then I just like tried to like branch out of that, which like is fine sometimes, like especially if you're buying it secondhand. But like, yeah, I do regret a lot of my previous clothing purchases.
You definitely went from like alternative to whimsy alternative, and like I love that.
Right now I feel like I'm not even really like embracing like my full like sense of style, because one, it's hot, but two, also like I'm just like not really like feeling my body lately, and like I just like I don't really feel confident in everything that I have.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Which everyone goes through phases like that, like but yeah, I'm like not wearing half of my closet right now because I just don't.
That's how I feel too.
I'm just in my big t-shirt mode. Like I've worn this shirt on the pod like, I don't know,
That's your
so many times.
emotional support shirt.
Yeah, it just covers my arms.
That's real. That's real as fuck.
I've tried to do this every 6 months, but like I always slack on it. Is I go through my closet and I turn all the hangers backwards, and when I wear something, the hanger goes the other way. And if in like the next 6 months the hanger hasn't moved, and it's not like a like seasonal like item, like it's not like a weather related item, I'm like, why am I keeping this? Like I should be donating this.
That's really smart. That's a hack.
It really helps because it's like, I can't remember the last time I wore that, but like if you're like looking at the hanger and it's backwards from 6 months ago, you're like, get a grip, girl.
Yeah.
Or it reminds you like, I really do like that shirt. I should try wearing that today, because you're like, I haven't worn it clearly, obviously in a long time. It really helps.
Too many times I have bought a piece of clothing that didn't fit me, and then I'm like, you know what? This will just inspire me to wear weight because I really love this piece of clothing, and I'll just wear it when I finally lose the weight. And then I never do. And then I'm just like, damn, I've just had this piece of clothing in my closet for how long?
Yeah.
And like, I've never ended up wearing it. That's my problem.
I have a lot of those too.
I wish I had the space to start collecting clothes for my child. Because like I do think I see like clothes sometimes and I'm like, God, that's gonna be so cool in like 10 years, like when this isn't like trending, and like I want it so bad, but it's also like, where the fuck am I gonna put this?
I used to think about that a lot when I worked at Target, because I would see like the baby clothes section and I would always be like, I wish I had a friend that had a baby that I could give this to, because it's so fucking cute.
Yeah,
there's a lot of times because like you guys all have like your own things that like you guys are into. There are so many times where I'm like in a store and I'm like, oh my God, like Ethan would love this, or like, oh my God, like this is so Haley, or this is like this is very Vivi.
I do that too.
Me too.
But then I just refrain because I love gift giving. It's my favorite.
Me too.
I need to stop though, because like, maybe just wait, girl. Maybe wait for Christmas. Like maybe save that gift. Don't just give it to them immediately.
I'm like, bitch, it's the middle of summer. No, there's nobody's birthdays coming up right now. Like,
real.
Christmas is not soon.
We don't have the disposable income for that anymore. I used to be able to do shit like that, and then after moving out, it's like, fuck, I just don't have the money.
Every time I go out, I buy Ethan something and I can't stop.
Oh,
I do that for Jacob a lot too.
And it's like, it's fun, but it's also like, am I just doing this to justify the fact that I went shopping because I'm like, I got you a gift?
Depends on how much you spend.
Sometimes it's like a couple dollars. And I'm like,
yeah, that's fine. That's acceptable. I just wish that the infrastructure of our country was completely different.
So true.
There's so much space. This country is fat.
Massive.
This country is huge. But like, I don't know, everything could be way more compact and, again, walkable. And communities could feel so much more like in tune with each other. Families could feel so much more in tune with their neighbors.
Yeah, because like, why am I sometimes afraid to go to a different neighborhood? like into like an establishment. I'm like,
Mhm.
what if I'm not in the right neighborhood?
Yeah.
Like, what if I don't fit in here? Why
Yeah.
do I care?
Yeah.
It's something that I need to be better at too, because I saw a tweet where it's like, you claim to want community, but you don't know your neighbor's name, and I was like, ooh.
Okay, but like in our defense, it's number one really hard to make friends with your neighbors when it's like 90 degrees in everyone's apartment.
Yeah, and I never see anyone.
But also, we don't have neighbors like house neighbors. We have wall-to-wall neighbors, and I don't think we need to cross that line personally
Mhm.
because we're too close in quarters, and like I just don't think it's a good idea.
Yeah. I live in a cul-de-sac. And we've like traded like fruit and stuff with like our
Sweet.
neighbors, and like they've brought us like, I don't know, bread
That's
before.
Mhm.
Very sweetie. I wish that I was more in tune with my neighbors. It's more Cassie because she's just so charming.
She is.
But and like a lot of our like my neighbors are like older, which is fine. It doesn't mean that I can't like have a connection with them, but
I don't like feeling like I'm bugging them.
yeah, it is hard. I mean, I do say I want community, but then there are like for me there's like conditions to it because it's like if you're a Trump supporter, like I don't want to be friendly with you.
Well, that's not community anyways because their morals don't align with having a community.
I really wish that the country does divide. I want
I'm
every
cool.
state to be their own country.
I'm so down with that actually.
Like,
Segregation.
yeah, no,
Bring back
not
Don't
not
even
by
finish
race.
that sentence, girl. Do not finish that sentence.
Not by race. Not by race.
what
we
did
are
you think I was going to say?
anti-race segregation.
It
No,
was-
me.
It was just funny. It's Haley
I
saying,
said let's bring back, and then I stopped.
Oh,
That's
oh
why
my
I said,
god.
don't finish that sentence.
It was a joke, guys.
Yes, it was a joke. We're joking here.
No, but truly, like, well, it would be so awesome.
I
if
think people would be
our-
happier.
if the United States ununited, and we all just like had our own state based on political.
I actually
motives.
think it would help cultures develop.
Yeah,
Like you would see more of like an identity in states because it's like, well, they kind of have this freedom now. So it's like, obviously like in Europe, like they have that, like they know like, oh, if you want to do like this type of stuff, you go to like this country. But it's like, here is kind of like, well, if you want to go have fun at a bar, it's like go to like the big city downtown area, like anywhere you go pretty much. And it's like, that's kind of lame. It's like just expected.
mm-hmm.
And it's like all downtowns feel the same to me at this point.
They are. They do feel the same. Yeah. I don't
know if I would agree with that, but I'd have to think about it a little bit more.
Obviously not like, I'm not saying it's like copycat, but it's like, okay, I'm going to walk around. I'm going to spend some money on some overpriced things. I might get a meal, maybe some coffee, maybe a little sweet treat. I have to pay for parking and then I'm going to go home.
I was telling Jacob that I was like, wow, like there really isn't more to life because like like even traveling, like even if I go to a different country for vacation, like other than exploring the nature, which I would do, like that does interest me, but like no, like truly, like what am I doing? I'm doing the same thing that I would here. I'm going out to eat.
Yeah.
I'm getting myself a little drink. I'm getting a sweet treat. I'm shopping, and then I'm going home. Like
all life is a sweet treat. Go out.
It's eating.
Go home.
Yeah, it's eating and shopping and going home. Like that's all there is to life. Like there's got to be more.
But it's also like we don't have the money or the resources to be doing some of these things that other people get to do. Like I would actually kill to go on a hot air balloon ride in Turkey. Like that is like bucket list item for me. And it's like, I know that obviously you can do that in like California, but like I don't want to go on a hot air balloon ride in Temecula.
Yeah. You see the desert.
Yeah.
Like that's not interesting. It doesn't feel like an experience. It feels like I'm doing an activity in my home state.
Speaking of flying, I think hate your guts to airlines because why the fuck are the seats so small now?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Like the seats got so tiny. It doesn't feel comfortable at all. I feel like flying used to be so different pre 9/11.
It's supposed to be I don't like really saying this, but it's supposed to kind of be a luxury experience. Like you have to pay so much money and you're doing it to be more comfortable than driving that far.
Yeah.
And it's like, so why am I paying all this money to still be like I would have more space in a car at this point.
Yeah.
Did the planes shrink? The planes themselves?
No,
I
they
think
shrunk
just-
the seats to add more people and make more money.
Yeah,
Oh,
they,
yeah,
they
okay.
made the seats smaller to add like extra seats on each side.
Got it.
Some planes, it's not like just side and side. It's side, middle, side with 2 aisles.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the really
Yeah,
big
the
ones?
really big.
I think they're the international flights.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I've been on one of those
That
just
makes
coming to
sense.
California.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never been on one of those.
No,
Maybe-
those are nice.
Maybe going to like the popular areas is where they go.
Yeah.
Like, places like LA.
that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Atlanta to LAX, yeah.
Yeah.
What were we talking about before the planes?
Community.
Yeah.
And wanting it, basically. It's
Yeah.
hard to foster community in post-Trump America.
Yeah, like it was a lot easier to ignore or just like get along with people that didn't have the same political views as you pre-Trump. It was a lot easier back then.
Well, I think our morals are. The divide between them is a lot bigger. And the ways in which people that are right wing are so like violent about their views is what makes all of the difference.
I also think that well, I'll just say it, like the left, like leftists
Mhm.
actually like woke up and like they're not just like Democrats anymore.
Mhm.
Like they're anti-capitalist.
Yeah.
And they realize that capitalism is the root of all evil, and like there's just no going back. That's part of why like the gap between like the left and the right is just like so like extreme now. It's because it's not just like a gap between like Democrats Democrats which are still capitalists and Republicans which are still capitalists.
Yeah.
It's like no, like we're like communist and like capitalist like slash like also like authoritarian like
Mhm.
so we like realized that like capitalism just sucks and like there's no like lassoing us all back into like a similar like range again.
Yeah. And it wasn't meant to last this long. Capitalism, like we're in
It
late stage
wasn't.
capitalism. This was
Also-
not supposed to be the model in which the economy or the state of the world should work.
Yeah. Also, like, we recognize how silly it sounds to be like, I hate capitalism and like still consume, but that's different because we don't, it's more about not believing in the value of a dollar. Like, there should
Yeah.
be no
Dollar.
Like, that doesn't, even like bartering is stupid. Like, why do you care if everyone is giving to other people?
Mhm.
Why do you care if you're making money? Why does money matter to you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's why I don't understand why people are like so against like ideas like socialism and communism,
Yeah.
because they're looking at obviously like poorly executed examples, and it's like that wasn't real communism or socialism.
Yeah.
They
True communism is when no money.
Yeah. Stateless, moneyless,
And
classless
like
society.
I don't want like one leader that everyone looks like. That's not what I'm looking for in that type of society.
I think just for a lot of people, it is just so utopian and it's like almost too good to be true. But like, I think that if enough people were educated and like unbrainwashed,
Mhm.
like, I don't know, I think it could be productive and I think that like shit could get done and maybe not in our lifetimes, but maybe for our future generations, like
Yeah.
if there was hope for future generations, like maybe I would want to have kids, but
Well, there's still, I don't know the right word, uncivilized societies, like deep in the jungles. They operate a life with no money, with no technology, and they're happy, and they continue their culture, and they're unbothered. And it's like,
Yeah.
we
And
can still do that,
indigenous communities are still thriving around the world without capitalism.
except for that one that Elon Musk brought internet to and like basically ruined the community.
Yeah. Fuck him.
I blissfully don't know anything about this and I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Yeah. No, you don't. It's really sad.
It would just make you sad.
Yeah.
I think definitely capitalism, socialism, communism are all buzzwords that a lot of uneducated people don't really know. So they hear that and they tune it all out. Like if I say I'm anti-capitalist, I'm leftist, they're going to be like, okay, so you're a traitor to America. Like they have no real concept of what that really means and what a classless, like moneyless society would really look like. And it's not that it would be anarchy. Like it's not that no one is doing anything. it's the fact that we're all participating and looking out for each other and watching each other.
I would maybe consider myself an anarcho-communist, but I haven't unpacked that yet.
Yeah. That's why I say leftist, because once it comes down to like very specific labels, I feel like there's a lot of discourse, and I'm not going to bother with knowing what each and every.
Well, the stereotype of communism is, and socialism is, high taxes. And obviously, like, here's the thing. I understand taxes. I know why we do it. The issue with me with taxes is the fact that it's not going towards anything that's actually benefiting the people who are paying the taxes.
No.
And so, yeah, I would actually be fine with really high taxes if, like, I had free healthcare and, like, bread was only $2 a loaf and shit like that. You know, like, I would be fine with the government taking half my fucking money, but that's not the world we live in.
If we lived in a true democracy where the people could decide where our fucking tax dollars go to, then I would have no problem paying taxes. And honestly, it probably would be less taxes because we wouldn't be paying so much money to our fucking military.
So true.
And if we kept our noses out of other countries' fucking businesses, then maybe we wouldn't need such a strong military.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The military industrial complex is very strong. If our taxes didn't go to Israel and the military and police, things would be better. We would have access to healthcare, college.
Yeah. I still have beef with the lotto. California specifically, count your fucking days, because starting a program for the public school system and then completely taking that away from them but continuing the gambling is fucking insane, and it's such a disservice to your entire state and community to do that.
Elaborate?
The lotto was founded to fund public schools.
The lottery?
Yeah.
Really?
That was the entire point of the lottery, because gambling was like obviously illegal for a while, and this is like legal gambling, if you will.
Yeah.
And the entire point was like that, yes, there's obviously like a prize, but there's a portion that's going towards public schools, and it's funding public schools, because there's always been a lack of public school funding, and clearly that doesn't happen anymore.
So it's fully privatized?
Yeah, like that was the whole point, was to fund schools, and that's not at all what it is. It's just people being like, God, I hope this is my one fucking break and like I don't have to worry about money for the rest of my life.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Simply just give the money to the schools if we have it.
And if they are still giving money, it's not as much as they should be, because there's too many people profiting off the lotto.
It's very dystopian that it's just a fact of life that schools are underfunded, children cannot have free lunch, teachers work overtime and are not paid very well, and sometimes often have to have 2 jobs. Like, why is that the norm? That's so fucking dystopian.
And we still have these beautiful, kind souls who dream of being a teacher.
Yeah.
In that state of being like, yeah, I know I'll be underpaid, I know I'll have to buy my own supplies, and they're still like, I want to do it for the kids. And like, we need more people like that.
I was going to be a teacher, and then I changed my mind for that reason.
Yeah, which unfortunately me too, because as much as I would love to be able to do that job, I also want to be able to afford
to live,
to give my kids a good life, and like I don't want them to have to struggle.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I would love to wake up in the morning and not be worried if my bank account is overdrawn.
100%.
Yeah. Well, fuck the lottery then.
Fuck the lottery, guys.
So we shouldn't buy lottery tickets.
I mean, at this point, it's like, it's whatever, because it's still happening, but it irritates me that it was like basically founded in the eyes of like, yeah, we're going to do something great for public school. And it's like not at all what it did.
Yeah. No, that's really fucked up. I did not know that.
My dad taught me that, actually.
Look at us being educational for once.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for that, Haley.
If you talk to pretty much, I think like anyone in like probably the Gen X generation, they're very aware of it, because they're like, yeah, like that's how they started it.
Well, I think I've said what I needed to say in this episode. I'm very drowsy.
Me too. I need to go feed my cat before they actually eat each other.
Yeah, we partied last night and I have another party to go to, and I have to get ready, and I have to serve cunt again.
That's crazy.
You got this.
I'm tired, girls.
All right. Later, haters.
Later, haters.